What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the podcast. I know it's a lot later for me to be dropping an episode. I'm sorry about that. A lot of stuff going on today, but I digress. It's like 7:20 over here on the east side, and yeah, I'm in a good mood. It's nice, just trudging along in 2021. I hope everyone is enjoying their Easter. To all who celebrate it, hope you got a good meal in, and I hope you guys got some presents or enjoyed a Easter egg hunt with your loved ones and all that. So I would want to take this day just to enjoy enjoy the people around you, and that was the big reason. That's really been on my mind today, is just enjoying the people around you in your life, friends, family, moms and dads, and anybody who you would consider family, or really somebody you care about a lot. So I would say take that. That's what I take when it comes to Easter Sunday. Because it was usually, in my household, it was usually just Easter dinner, and maybe we'll exchange gifts and whatnot. But I don't know. I'll say as I get older, I feel these holidays just kind of pass me by. But I don't mind it, because I mean, it's always nice to have a day dedicated to being around the people you love, you know. And now, I want to address something when it comes. I know it was posted on the IG, and for those who don't know, I'm talking about DMX. And yeah, for those who don't know, DMX suffered from an overdose, I believe, Friday night, and he was in the hospital, and they said he was in grave condition. I believe he was on life support, and they said that it was looking bad. But I did see a tweet, I believe sometime Saturday evening, that said that he was off life support and he was breathing on his own now. I haven't checked too far into the story, or too far into the developing story, and seeing how he's doing today, but it was just good to hear that he was now breathing on his own. And I don't want to sound let me just say uneducated on the topic, but I just want to talk about, at least from my point of view, not even from DMX specifically. I know he had a history of doing drugs. I remember he smoked crack back in the a few years back. I don't know where he was at now when it came to that. I don't know what substance he took to suffer the potential overdose, or I should say the overdose. But it's good to hear that he's doing better. But what I got to say about that is that to me it's kind of heartbreaking seeing things like this, especially when you kind of see the person, even either you know the person, or you idolize the person, or it's somebody you know that is going through something like that. DMX, I obviously don't know DMX personally, but I feel I connected to his music at times. I know he did say on Dr. Phil that he couldn't consider himself an artist if he didn't write, and I would say I don't connect with DMX on a level like how I connect with some other rappers when it comes to like their overall message and things like that. And I do love DMX. I love his music, and I love his style, and I feel that was a good transition for me going into adulthood. And granted, I didn't listen to gangster rap isn't really super up there for me, but when it comes to DMX, I can name off a couple of songs that I really do like that he's made. But saying that, just hearing something like this, I remember this happened with Juice WRLD, where he OD'd on pills, I believe in 2019, end of 2019, I believe. And then yeah, it's just it just sucks to see that. But I would say hopefully he rises above this, DMX, and I hope he goes and gets help if needed and whatnot, all that good stuff. Me personally, I don't drink or smoke, and I feel, well, for personal reasons, of course, that's not really my style. That's not really whether some people might say that's boring. I honestly don't believe so. I feel that shouldn't really be a reason why people should get together, and I'm not against anybody who does anything like that. But if it's at a point that it becomes a problem, and I would say I'll be the first one to say you need help, in that I'm just not the type of person to be around that kind of crowd who thinks that doing stuff like that is what a good time is. I feel I'm not going to touch base so much on it, but I'm just saying that's not really my thing, and I just asked if people appreciate that when some, because I know there's a lot of people like me, and I know the definition for somebody who doesn't do that. I know people have heard straight edge. Also, I believe the actual term for it is teetotal, where somebody hasn't consumed any alcohol or did any drugs or anything like that. And yeah, it's kind of a touchy subject, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. But if all I gotta say about that is it just sucks seeing things like that. But switching it up to some more lighthearted news, I did see the trailer for Space Jam 2 with LeBron. I would say one thing I took away from it, well, why wasn't LeBron's actual son in it? And I know there's an argument for it, because, not gonna lie, when I saw the trailer, LeBron's acting skills could probably use some work now. Just to be honest, but just from what I've seen. However, yeah, maybe it was kind of the same thing with his son, or maybe like, I don't even want to think they're camera shy, but I guess none of them really wanted to do it. But I don't know. I just find it odd, you know. I don't know if MJ had his family in the original Space Jam, but I did see. I'm getting under the impression that it's a different style than what the original one is, because if you guys saw the original Space Jam, you had NBA stars lose their talent and they just played like crap throughout the game, and then like they were all just hanging out in a gym. From my understanding, I think if you guys watch the trailer, LeBron goes through kind of a portal or something or anything like that, but I believe it's because I believe the Monstars, or the whatever team LeBron's gonna go up against, it has Dame, Clay, Anthony Davis, excuse me. I'm trying to remember who else is on there. A couple of guys. I believe Kyrie, something like that. But I believe they kind of get transform into like their Monstar form and all that. But I don't know. It's a movie. It's fun. You know, it's kind of paying homage to the paying homage to the old movie while trying to modernize it and whatnot. You never really wanted to. I would say this: you don't want to go into this movie thinking it's going to be like, oh, it's a blockbuster hit, this, that, and the third. I always take NBA players acting with a pinch of salt. I know Rick Fox. I think he did a good job kind of transitioning into acting and whatnot. I don't know how many projects he's been in, but seeing guys like Kevin Durant, seeing Kyrie and Uncle Drew, you know, it's like they're not bad. Sometimes they're bad. I don't know. It depends who you ask, I guess. But yeah, it got me a little excited for it. I mean, I'm gonna go into it just looking to have a good time, you know. Well, since we're on the topic of movies, a movie I did watch this past weekend was Kong vs. Godzilla. And I've already told you guys how I feel about the Monsterverse. I love it. I think those Titan movies are awesome to me. And it's kind of the same thing when I was talking about Space Jam. You want to go in there having a good time, because it's hard to go into a movie like movies like that. I would say probably one of the bigger flaws about it, because I'm trying not to spoil anything, but when it comes to the human storylines in those kinds of movies, because when you go into a movie like that, you don't plan on caring, they make it really hard for you to care about these other characters, trying to make the people a factor in these movies. And what I would say about that is, I mean, they're not wrong, because it's kind of, you go into wanting to watch these movies to see the two big ass monsters fight it out, or fighting whatever, and this, that, and the third, destroying everything, like destroying cities, fighting amongst skyscrapers and whatnot, using trees as swords and everything. That's probably the biggest thing that I really kind of found cringe with, I guess. I had questions about, but I can't really blame people, because again, it's always kind of hard, you know. But it gets me excited to see where things will go from here, and it's gotten me thinking through like kind of a summer bucket list or something. I want to watch the movies in order chronologically. I like doing that. I know last year, summer 2020, I did that with MCU, and yeah, I might rewatch it, because I've watched them all. I don't even know what I would want to consider my favorite. I would say 2014 Godzilla. Out of those guys, when it comes to 2014 Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Kong Skull Island, and I guess Kong versus Godzilla. I don't know if I'm missing one. I don't believe so. But I would say Godzilla number 1, Kong Skull Island number 2, King of the Monsters number 3, and then Kong versus Godzilla number 4. At least right now, because I would say, depending how that movie ages, because just to see what else they're gonna have going on. But it does have a lot. It does apply a lot when it comes to storylines and things like that. Where could the franchise go from here? But yeah, I would say just go into a movie. Go the same thing with Space Jam. Go in there just having a good time, because they do a good job showcasing these guys duking it out and all that. But when it comes to watching trailers, because I've seen Space Jam trailer and the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer everywhere. The things I don't really like about trailers sometimes, when it comes to a movie I want to see, I try to shy away from watching so many trailers on the movie I'm going to want to watch, because sometimes it kind of, I won't even say disappoints you, because sometimes they kind of spoil some of like the big action scenes or the big reveals and stuff like that, even though they try their hardest not to, because that's their job as a trailer, just to get people hyped for it without giving away too much. But sometimes you don't want to watch it and then start kind of like putting the puzzle together, and the next you kind of spoil it for yourself, or not spoil it, but kind of make the feeling for yourself, kind of diminish that feeling that you had going into it. But I would say it was a good time. It was a good time watching that movie. But I would I'm definitely checking out Space Jam, and yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the Monsterverse again. Is like top tier in my opinion when it comes to watching movies and stuff like that. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend Space Jam 2. I'm not too sure about, but again, I would have to watch it first. Yeah, so just switching gears now, I want to talk about the latest addition to the frequent rotation list. And please forgive me if I mess up this guy's name. It's either Collaborate. And his song Contact off his latest album, I know if you guys seen the IG post, you know exactly. It was the Lights Hit My Skin, or I believe that's what the album name is. But I would say it was kind of the same thing with Uno Hype. I kind of just found his music when it just kind of surfing through Spotify and things like that. And I give Spotify and those streaming services credit sometimes, because they do give you hits, or they do put you on to new artists that you end up liking. And I feel that's the whole point about music, is wanting to explore and want to expand your library and everything. And I don't know, like I always say, like the criteria for for songs making it in, it's usually how it touches me emotionally, or kind of how it gets me either feeling strongly about being strongly in a certain emotional state. Whether I'm really happy, the song really uplifts me, the song gives me energy, empowers me, has a good beat, catchy beat, and I would say Contact by him does a lot for that. And it gets me happy, because I wasn't expecting him to drop when he did. And granted, I believe this song was one of the singles he dropped. I just didn't do a good job trying to listen to it beforehand. But I'm kind of glad I didn't. I guess the whole album. I mean, I listened to it once through it all, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I know I remember liking maybe like 2 or 3 songs off of it, and I believe it had like somewhere in like the 13-14 range, I believe, when it came to how many songs. But yeah, it's not, I don't know, it was fine, but yeah, 1 or 2 songs that I really like, and I guess that's kind of the minimum when it comes to it. But hey, I'm glad that artists that I like are like kind of punching out music. I know Uno dropped his stuff a few weeks back that I'm still listening to some of. Listen to the album a good part of, and I'm glad that I'm finding new artists. And like I said before, that's kind of the name of the game when it comes to using these streaming services. I don't really know anybody who would just be listening to like the same 5 songs over and over. And I feel that kind of you're just holding yourself back at that point. And yeah, just kind of not even spitballing, but just kind of listening off some stuff that I thought was interesting on IG. I know Isaiah Thomas, my guy, the king of the fourth quarter when he was in Boston, and he's got his career's kind of been up and down when it's come to his post Boston playing career. I know he spent his time with Cleveland and the Lakers and the Wizards for a spell and the Nuggets where he didn't play much, but he did sign a 10-day contract with the Pelicans. And what I gotta say about that, I hope, man, because he was let me stop right there. He was my favorite player. He got me in love with watching basketball, like Celtics basketball anyway. He wasn't the player that kind of got me in love when watching the Celtics. That was Paul Pierce, but he kind of added, like, he was that underdog guy. He was, like, the city embraced him just as much as he embraced the city, and I think anything that he does, it's like when it comes to, if you ask Celtics fans about him, it's anything he does is going to be Celtics related. And I kind of find it annoying that the fact that he's been out there and that the Celtics haven't been willing to pick him up or anything like that. It's kind of like, oh, that time is done. This, that, and the other. I understand if you want. It's NBA's a business, but I feel if you were any Celtics fan, you would love to have Isaiah Thomas back on the team, just as a morale booster. But and also he's going to be wearing the number 24 to honor Kobe, and I hope IT does ball out for the Pelicans and he can kind of find his place back in the NBA once again, because he's the greatest player under 6 foot ever. And the fact that he was the MVP candidate at his time here, it just goes to show how cold this dude was in that 2016-17 season with the Warriors super team. You got LeBron and Kyrie out in Cleveland. But the fact that this dude was playing in a league filled, pretty much he was playing amongst the trees, being 5'9", that IT is always going to be one of my favorite Celtics of all time, because just the way he went about himself, constant professional, and he was definitely my favorite player for a decent amount of time, especially while he was here. Well, he was my favorite thing to watch. He was the reason I would turn on the TV to watch the Celtics games all the time. Him, Avery Bradley, all. Granted, we were never the greatest. We weren't the best team in the league, but he was the reason that he kind of got me super into watching Celtics basketball post Paul Pierce and post Big Three. And even while Pierce and Allen and KG were here, I didn't really watch basketball all that much. I really started getting into basketball when the Celtics first got IT, and yeah, he just hit the ground running while he was here, and I loved every minute of it. And I hope one day he does don the green again, but only time will tell. And at this point, I'm not even sure. I don't even think that would be a possibility anymore. But IT, he's will always be known as king of the fourth quarter with his time in Boston. And just talking about college hoops a little bit, just to kind of bring everything full circle a little bit. UCLA lost to Gonzaga, and I just saw imagine this. Imagine you put money on the underdog team, and they tie the game, and let's say you put a decent amount of money on this game, because a lot of people watch these games just to place bets and whatnot, and some people have gotten a lot of money from placing bets. It's crazy seeing on House of Highlights and Bleacher Report how much money some of these people are making when it comes to their bets. And I'm not really into the whole gambling on games or anything. I don't really do anything like that. And I don't know, it kind of gets me interested when it comes to betting on sports and everything like that. But the fact that people make bank is crazy to me when it comes to maybe throw in a decent amount of money and then you get a $10,000 profit off of your bets or off of your parlays or whatever. But talking about the game, I feel Gonzaga, man, it's they got the basketball gods on their side. These guys, granted, I feel I grant, like, I shouldn't even say like they have the basketball gods on their side, acting like they don't deserve to be there. Like, these guys have been running roughshod throughout the entire season, from what it looks like. I believe, from my understanding, they have a perfect season going on right now, so they're just one game away, and I believe they're facing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's Baylor or somebody. Because again, I haven't really been keeping tabs on the tournament as much as the next person, but. Yeah, I mean, shoot, crazy. I'm probably not gonna play some bets though, but I know that definitely some people woke up today and then just chose anger and maybe chose violence. Who knows? But yeah, I just wanted to wrap everything up. I know, definitely recommend the King Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah, college hoops going crazy, and I guess the last tidbit is that I just don't know what my Celtics are doing. I kind of miss watching the Celtics of old, where IT was still here. Space Jam 2, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, just remember, going into movies like that, you got to just remember to just have a good time with it. You're not going there for the huge storylines. You're just going there to have fun and maybe get a laugh in or two. You know, you watch Kong and Godzilla to watch two big ass behemoths just destroy stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And everybody enjoy the rest of their Easter. And I will see you guys next week, where we talk about basketball versus baseball. The debate of the century. Not really. But it's going to be interesting to me. Love you guys. Stay safe.